To Subaru, an economy car is only economical if it stands up year after year. Spending less at the pump is no bargain if you start spending more at the garage. And a study of Subaru owners, Road and Track magazine said, quote, one of the most trouble-free cars we've surveyed. That makes Subaru the economy car it pays to hold on to. Year after year after year. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
American business is being taken over by revolutionaries. Revolutionary Savin copiers. Savin's advancing in New York, surrounding Dallas. Savin's winning over banks and brokerage houses. Why is big business going for Savin in a big way? Because Savins are fast, economical, and remarkably reliable. In fact, last year, Savin outplaced Xerox and IBM combined. So if you haven't noticed the revolution, you will. Savin, the revolutionary copiers that are winning over big business.
Live, undefeated champion Hilmer Kenny blasts away with Villamar Fernandez for the WBA Lightweight Championship. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Well, Dick Vermeil, you see him. He's got to be concerned. His team has just turned the football over. John, you were just saying those are the kinds of things that always happen to me when I'd come here as a coach.
It always seems. This is really a weird game. You think you're getting started, and then you have the fumble. And it always happens to me here in this place.
At the 47-yard line after the turnover. Seattle with the football and with a 13-7 lead. Zorn to Joe Dat. Joe Dat gets away. First down to the 35. The ball is loose again. It looks like Seattle has recovered. That's Dornick, Dan Dornick, who's on the ball at the 25, so they picked up another 10 yards after the fumble.
I was just saying weird things that happen here. Philadelphia fumbles, they get the ball. They come out here. Joe Dat has the ball. He's going. He gets hit. He fumbles the ball. It goes out, and they recover it for a 10-yard gain. Watch this as he gets hit there. The ball comes out. Who does it go to? It goes. Look at all those Philadelphia guys. It goes right to a Seattle guy.
Tell you, Dornick did a good job getting on that ball. That's not all that easy. They had 12 yards on the pass and another 10 yards on the fumble. First down at the 25 now.
I know how Dick Vermeil feels.
Zorn back to throw. Largent. Roynell Young almost had the interception. Young, who is facing one of the best that ever played in this game, Steve Largent, had good position on this play.
I think that Jim Zorn took a little too much off this pass. It's a corner route. Now what Largent's doing, he's going inside, trying to sell Young that he's going to the post. He goes to the outside. Had the ball been led a little more, it would have been a touchdown. I think Zorn took a little off and didn't get it up over his head. You see here, we see Zorn coming back. Now we know what's going on with Largent. He throws the ball. It's a little short so that he can't stretch out in the end zone.
That was Claude Humphrey that hit Zorn just as he released the football.
I know it.
And there is Young, the #1 draft pick. Boy, what a baptism he's got in his rookie year. They have come at him with everything they can throw. Here is Joe Dat. Flag on the play. Joe Dat at the 19-yard line. Well, that offensive line really fired out, but let's see what the penalty's all about.
It's probably against that offensive line that fired out, and it's probably holding.
And you're exactly right, Mr. Madden.
And it's a great drive stopper. You just get things going, and then boom, that holding penalty comes out. I don't think there's anything that hurts a drive more than a holding penalty. Let's see if we can see it here. The center looks okay to me. The left tackle looks okay. The lead block looks okay. I don't see it.
That's Yarno.
Second down.
He didn't look all right to the official.
Well, we looked at him initially, and he looked okay.
So that's the reason you and the officials never got along. You didn't see the same game.
I know it. I don't, you know, he probably was holding in there, but it sure didn't look like it. But none of them ever looked like it. That doesn't mean anything.
Awesome.
I never had a penalty call that I agreed with it. The fans are booing.
They lose 10 yards on the hold. Second down and 20 from the 35. Zorn got a little quarterback draw, but it's not going to work. Ken Clark smelled that one out. Clark, number 71, who had a big play last week against Chicago, comes up with this tackle.
That's one play that I'm sure that the Eagles have worked against, is this quarterback draw. See, Zorn goes back. There's nothing open. He's going to run the quarterback draw. They had a good penetration in the middle. There was no place for him to run.
Coach Klassen back there. Also Carl Peterson, as you see them looking on as we come to a third down and 24. Carl Hairston is this also in on that last tackle along with Ken Clark. 3 wide receivers are in for Seattle on a 3rd and 24. McCullum goes in motion. Zorn setting up a little screen intended for Jodat. One of the Eagles, that Eagle being Claude Humphrey, got a hand on the football and messed it up. And so, as you said, that penalty stopped the drive along with some fine defense. And now it's a 4th down for Seattle.
Claude Humphrey wasn't fooled on that one. He started to rush the passer. As we see him here at the top of the screen, see, he feels screen, he stops the rush, he gets back into it, gets his hand up, and he would love to have had an interception there. He's one of the few players on this team that has played against Jim Zorn.
I tell you, Dick Vermeil said that Humphrey's been a tremendous addition. He's really been a good influence on this football team. Herman Weaver hit that one straight up in the air. And it's going to take a Philadelphia bounce and come back out to the 33. That ball went straight up in the air. Weaver, who earlier kicked one 50 yards, did not get that one to his liking. And so Philadelphia has the football, 1st down at their own 32.
Introducing a small wonder, the new Toyota Starlet. Born small to solve big problems. Born small to deliver more miles per gallon of gas than any other car, and designed to help beat higher maintenance costs. The very new Toyota Starlet. Born small. In fact, it just may be the first small wonder of the world.
Oh, what a feeling. Starlet. Toyota.
One day, I'm heading out of Buffalo, and my rig won't start up. So this guy comes along and asks me if I wanted to jump. Oh, I had this big rig, but he had the Go-Getter. Ward's Go-Getter Plus Power. Ward's best, with more cranking power for more starting power. Without that, even a warranty can leave you out in the cold. Warranties don't start cars, batteries do. And the Go-Getter Plus has the power to get you going, even in Buffalo. Now $64.88. Save $13.
Dracula's coming to New York, and his style is irresistible. George Hamilton and Susan St. James star in Love at First Bite, Wednesday night. Good evening.
That kick by Weaver was 7 yards. And so from the 32, Philadelphia with it. A new guard is in. Ron Baker's replaced Woody Peoples at right guard. 13-7, Seattle with the lead. Harris, Giamona, the running backs, and a little movement on that play before the snap. Here's Giamona out to the 33, but that's going to go against the Eagles. They had people jumping all over the place.
And I think the person who jumped was the right guard, number 63, Ron Baker, who just went in for Woody Peoples. They faked the stunt. They brought the linebacker over in front of him like he was going to blitz, and he jumped.
There's Baker coming out now, and Peoples back in. Peoples was the guy, along with Bobby Howard, that Vermeil at the start of the year sent letters to and said he thought they ought to retire. But Peoples would not retire.
Motion, number 20, offense, declined, 2nd down.
Leroy Harris moved. There were 2 or 3 Eagles that moved on that play. But I started to say Peoples came to camp. Vermeil leveled with him. He said, if you cannot become a starter on this football team, we will not keep you because of your age. Well, he's been a starter all year.
Right, and they say that he just practices like a 25-year-old.
So after the penalty, it's now 2nd down. 9 yards to go. They did refuse it. Harris. And now Krefley, you see him jump in. He jumps in alongside Spagnola, who's already in there at tight end. Jaworski back, a flag on the play. Carmichael makes his move to the 50. Look at this big 6'8" guy go to the 40, to the 37. But as we said, there is a penalty flag. It's holding against Philadelphia. So Carmichael's been involved in 2 plays. One of them a fumble. Now this one will come back. He's shaken up on this play.
Well, he's up now, walking back. Now, he was on the same side as Charles Smith. On the left side, he runs an out there. Again, it was a nice pattern. He hit just as he was breaking. And one thing about this big guy, he can run, can't he? At 6'8", he still has the moves of a smaller, elusive type.
Holding, number 62, offense, 2nd down.
That was Payroll who was guilty. Coming up shortly. Checklist down there.
He was talking about special teams now.
There's Krefley again jumping in to the wing position outside Spagnola. Quick pitch. This is Harrington. Harrington to the 30. Harrington to the 34-yard line. Well, they had two tight ends blocking on that side. John Harris made the tackle.
That's an interesting formation. They put their two wide receivers on the left side. They have the two tight ends, Kreftley and Spagnola, on the right side blocking together here as we see. Then they pull their right tackle. Jerry Sizemore, who led on that play, did a nice job on Kerry Justin to allow the ball to get outside.
Harrington playing more and more for this Dick Vermeil team. He's going to be quite a football player. He has one touchdown this year, a 19-yarder against the Giants. Rodney Parker is now checked in. Three wide receivers in on a 3rd down and 8. Only set running back is Giamona. Jaworski back on 3rd and 8. Carmichael, and that will be a 1st down. He's still on his feet. Look at this big guy to the 49-yard line. People bouncing off of him all over the place. Michael Jackson eventually made the stop. Carmichael really getting pounded in this game, showing how tough he is.
As we'll see this play again to Carmichael. It was an interesting formation. He had 3 wide receivers plus Camfield up on the line, so they had 4 wide receivers. They spread the Seattle defense out across the field. Then Jaworski could go back and find an open man and hit him. The open man on that last play was Harold Carmichael.
Harold Carmichael, since '73, has averaged 52 catches and 8 touchdowns a year. He came into this contest with 29 grabs, and he has really been important in this series. 1st down at the 49 of Seattle. Jaworski. Jaworski has Carmichael. Well, he could have been a couple inches taller than 6'8". He might have had that.
Oh, Jaworski's bad. He was standing back there and he's clapping his hands. He knew that he had that one, and it was just a little too long. It was a post pattern here to Harold Carmichael. We see him go into the post. Jaworski just puts a little too much on it. Harold Carmichael can't get to it. And he really stretched out to get to it,
did
too.
he ever?
It was, see, now watch Jaworski here. He throws it. It's a little too much, and he's thinking, geez, if I could just take it a little off that, it would have been a touchdown.
They may catalog that one away. Bob Fishman, our director, the only director in the National Football League that knows how to make egg creams, had 3 different looks at that play.
Egg creams. There's no egg and there's no cream.
But it's an egg cream, and he made them for us last night. And if he ever decides to give up directing, he could go into that business. He had the seltzer he brought all the way from Brooklyn, New York. And we're going to have a timeout called by Philadelphia. Jaworski didn't like what he saw that time. And so at the 7:27 mark of this 3rd quarter, the Eagles playing catch-up football, trying to win their 5th game in a row.
Got a long day's work behind me.
That's it. Let's take them home.
Good times on my mind. And a setting sun to remind me I'm going back to a place called Miller Time. If you've got the time.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
We've got the beer.
America's quality beer since 1855.
Miller tastes too good to hurry through.
Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. If you've got time, we've got the beer.
Well, Philadelphia using their first timeout, and John, you feel that that could be a very important timeout in this game.
I think so, and timeouts are always big, as I said before, at the end of the half and at the end of the game. But when you're in a tight game, as this one is going to be, those timeouts are very, very precious, and you don't want to use one in the 3rd quarter. That could come back to haunt them.
He moved ahead of Carroll Dale today, 17th place. Carroll Dale, the fine receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Harold Carmichael, what a year he's having.
He's something special.
1st down, or I should say 2nd down 10 at the 49-yard line. 13-7, Seattle with the lead. Jaworski. Leroy Harris. Harris to the 40, has the 1st down at the 35 to the 30-yard line. 1st down, the Eagles. Eagles mixing it up very effectively now as Jaworski using his full complement of receivers. That time Harris for a 19-yard pickup. Joe Norman and Keith Simpson made the tackle.
It was a nice run by Leroy Harris here. See, he gets to the sideline. It looks like the Seattle defense thinks he's going to get out of bounds. He starts to the outside like he's running to the sideline, makes a little cut, goes back against the grain, and picks up another 5 yards.
Harris this year caught a 51-yard touchdown pass against Washington, his first touchdown ever via the receiving route, and Minnesota still leading Washington.
They're scoring some points.
On the 30-yard line, first down now for the Eagles. Up the middle comes Harris. Boy, is he doing a job to the 18, and that's another first down.
That's where Ron Jaworski said they wanted to do, is establish the run. It's taken them a little while, but they look like they're getting some good mixture going now. And that formation, they had the 2 tight ends to the right side, which spread out the Seahawk defense and gave them a little crease to the inside for Leroy Harris to get into.
Leroy Harris, who came into this game with 182 yards, picking up a first down on that play. Just outside the 18-yard line. A first down for the Eagles. That's Krefley jumping into that formation that we have mentioned on numerous occasions. Outside Spagnola. Jaworski back. Lots of time. Broken up beautifully by John Harris. Carmichael, the intended receiver. Jaworski couldn't find anybody open, then tried to throw it through some defenders, and Harris got a hand on it.
That was sure good coverage on that, as we'll see the play again from the end zone here. You see, Jaworski gets back here. He has good pass protection. He has plenty of time. He can step up, but there's no one open, so he had to buy a little time to move around. And watch his deflection by Harris. He darn near caught the ball with one hand.
Harris has played well today. He had an interception earlier, and this time, deflecting the ball, that would have been a touchdown, no question. Oakland leading Miami 16-10. Second down 10 from the 18 of Seattle. Eagles will like to tie this one up and then take a lead with a point after. Here comes Harris. Harris to the 15. That's going to bring up third down. Still 7 yards to go for Philadelphia. Norman, Jacob Green in on the tackle. There's Green. You saw him in the East-West game, and you thought he was really something then.
I was impressed with Jacob Green in that game. In fact, I made a statement at that time. I had watched him practice all week in the East-West practice, and I said that the best player in this game is Jacob Green.
Jacob Green coming into this contest, leading the team with 5 sacks. Houston now has taken the lead over Denver. Houston with all those former Oakland players now. Third down and 7 from the 15. There's Krefley again in a wing position. Harris, the only set running back. The crowd is really noisy right now. And a touchdown to Smith. A flag has been thrown. Charles Smith, who always prays after every touchdown, caught that ball bouncing off of the defender. I want to see this one again, as a very well thrown pass by Jaworski.
It was a timing pass, and it's against
Pass
the Seahawks.
Interference, number 20, defense declined, touchdown.
Let's look at it again.
So the touchdown will count. I think the official had the wrong number of the guilty defender here, but you see a little bump right there. It was 22, not 20, Dave Brown, but he bumped him when the ball was in the air and before it got there.
Very religious man, Charles Smith. What a year he's having. He's having his best year in the National Football League. It's all even now, and with a chance to give him the lead is Tony Franklin. What a game we have at the Kingdome. And Franklin, who's 29 of 29 in the point after department, makes it 14-13 Philadelphia. So the Eagles enjoy that slim 1-point advantage again. And I emphasize the word slim because when you play Seattle, that's just not enough.
No, it sure isn't. As we watch Tony Franklin here, you know, that barefooted kicker, I would think they probably enjoy playing inside, don't they? They don't have to worry about the cold weather, the mud. They don't even have to worry about getting their foot sunburned.
And, of course, he will enjoy that next week because they go to the Superdome in New Orleans.
That's why he's so happy. Look, he's counting there. He's telling all the guys how nice this is. And that last score kind of made this crowd a little quiet, didn't it?
It was a very noisy crowd prior to that touchdown pass. They've had 24 consecutive sellouts here. This beautiful facility. And, of course, this is the 5th year of this franchise.
You see what he's doing there? He's softening the ball up. You know, you use new balls each time for a kickoff, and sometimes you get a brand new ball that hasn't been used, so they squeeze it like that to make it a little softer and easier to kick, especially if you're barefooted. That's important.
That's right. Jesse Green and Will Lewis back as Franklin hits this one very short. Lewis is on the fly at the 20-yard line. And he's going to make it out to the 23. So Franklin didn't get that one very well, but good coverage by Philadelphia anyway.
And Lewis made a bad decision. We used to always have a rule that if the ball is kicked outside the numbers, you take it right up that sideline. They had a middle or right return, and he brought it all the way back into the middle and didn't gain a thing with it.
What you mean by the numbers on the field?
The numbers on the field, right, the 10, 20, 30, 40.
So he took it to the middle, and his forward progress just short of the 25. We still have 4:48 remaining in this third quarter. 14-13, Philadelphia leading, and this is going to be quite a game before it's all over. Jim Zorn, play action to Dan Dornick. Zorn, lots of time. Randy Logan almost had an interception. John Sawyer, the tight end, the intended receiver, but Logan had deployed himself very, very well. Logan played in the Pro Bowl last year, and he shows why on that particular play.
What it was a short out and up. As we'll see, Sawyer, they play fake to the left. Sawyer runs an out and then up the field. It didn't fool Randy Logan at all. He was right there with them step for step.
Well, you've got all those other receivers. You wouldn't expect Sawyer to be down in that position, but Randy Logan did. 2nd and 10. There's that last drive, a 15-yard touchdown pass, tying it up, and then Franklin giving the Eagles a slim 1-point lead. Zorn setting up a screen to Dornick. Oh, is he hit? Excellent tackle that time. Frank LeMaster.
I'll tell you, that one didn't fool LeMaster. That pass is better against a zone defense, a screen pass. What you like is you like to see the defense work back to get deep, and then you set your screen, your lineman in front of the ball carrier where he can get turned upfield. That time, Frank LeMaster was man-to-man on Dornick, and he went right with him in the screen.
They were telling us he's having a very quiet but a very successful year for this Philadelphia team. You haven't heard a lot about him, but you saw that play. 3rd down, 15. Dornick a little shaken up after he took that shot from LeMaster. On a 3rd and 15, Zorn. And he's going to be sacked. Jim Zorn spun around. Dennis Harrison, 68, was back there. Zorn up and running off in a hurry.
I'll tell you, Harrison put that big right hand out there, caught Zorn's shoulder pad, and wasn't going to let go, because this guy gets away from so many of these type of things. But watch that. Oh, it was the left hand, I mean. The left hand, he brought him down, and he had a clamp on that jersey that Jim Zorn wasn't going to get away that play.
That's the 4th sack of the year for the man called Bigfoot, as Herman Weaver, who had an 8-yard kick the last time, hit this one very, very well. That is a picturesque kick. Shira at the 40-yard line. Big block that time, and he's out to the 45. Making that block was Ray Phillips. He really threw a block back at the 45 at his end of the field, and that gave Shira some running room to the 45 of Seattle. Art Kuhn eventually made the tackle. A 47-yard kick that time by Herman Weaver. Look next week, would you?
Yeah, we have some good ones. You know, that Atlanta and St. Louis will be a very interesting contest.
If St. Louis didn't lose too much today, boy, what a tough loss for them. Dallas beating them 27-24. Atlanta and Los Angeles look like they'll still be tied for first in that NFC West.
And this team, the Eagles, get to play the New Orleans Saints.
Could be a dangerous game. They're a little concerned about that. They were talking about it yesterday. From the 45, 1st down, and good hole up the middle that time. That's Mike Hogan, and Hogan to the 34-yard line.
You know, it's interesting. We'll see the play from ground level here that the Eagles started out trying to run to the outside, and they really didn't have any success. So they made a real good adjustment. They spread the defense out and started to hit the middle, and they're making big chunks in the inside of the Seahawk defense.
Hogan led the Eagles in rushing in 76 and 77. In 78, he had 607 yards. That was a career high. He's a fine football player. Looks like Jaworski wants a different football, and that's what they're going to get. Now, what brings that all about? What's the problem with the ball in a situation like that?
Usually stick 'em. If the last person that handles the ball had stick 'em on their hands or their jerseys, then the center is instructed, don't snap a ball that has stick 'em on it. We used to have a lot of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you led the league in that, I think. Here's Giamona, and Giamona inside the 30, and he's all the way to the 26-yard line. Tuliasa over to make the stop, a pickup of 8 yards on the play, and they're going to be a couple of short of the first down.
We'll see it here again. It was that double tight end formation to the same side. They tried to get outside. Giamona makes a nice cut and comes back to the inside against the grain.
Second down, a long 2 to go for Philadelphia. The Eagles, very impressive in this third quarter. And again, we'll be having a special report from the President of the United States. We'll be cutting to that live. CBS News there to cover it. On the 26, going for the first down is Mike Hogan. He had it, and you saw the charge that time by that offensive line of Philadelphia.
What a charge by the center, number 50, Guy Morris. He took off and he went after Terry Beeson, and they got a big push in that offensive line, right up the middle again.
Jaworski, really a resourceful guy, a guy who evidently has a high threshold of pain. He started his 55th straight today, and last week it looked like he wasn't going to start the rest of the year the way he got hit, suffered the concussion. That's really durability, and you can rely on a guy like that to answer the bell, or as you say, dance every dance.
Dance every dance.
First down from the 21. Jaworski with time, rifles the shot. Charles Smith had it for a moment.
What a pass, though. It's incomplete, but did Ron Jaworski zip that thing in there? They used to call him the rifle, and he still is some kind of rifle, but watch his throw. He comes back here again. It's time. Now watch that dart. That doesn't stay in the air very long. I think Charlie Smith had it, but the arm was caught back there by Kerry Justin, had the back of his arm, so he couldn't put both hands around it, both arms around it.
Minnesota now 30-14. You mentioned that arm of Jaworski. Jaworski said one thing about Dick Vermeil. He said he harnessed my energy. Used that strong arm in the right context, in the right places.
Well, he used it in the right place, that one.
Second down 10 from the 21. Carmichael and Smith, the bottom of the screen. Jaworski. They had 2 men in the same area. Smith, also Leroy Harris. Harris caught the ball at the 11-yard line. Now that is very, very close to a first down.
No, I think it's an incomplete pass, Gary. The official went up there and said that it's no good.
Let's look at it again.
This will be interesting to see what happened on that play. They did have 2 offensive men in the same area, and let's watch linebacker number 55, Michael Jackson here. See, he'll start back. Now there's the second man coming in there. He really picked off his corner, Kerry Justin.
It did hit the ground. Did you see that?
Right, hit the ground. The officials were right on top of that.
Boy, he really made it look like a catch. So it's now third down 10. Prefley jumping into the wing position. Third and 10, Jaworski intended for Smith, and Justin came up and batted it down. They've been picking on this young man from Oregon State. And Justin came up that time, and he looked like he wanted to go the other way with that football.
I'll tell you, he's an aggressive player. We remember earlier in the game on that short out, he came up and went for the ball, and it turned into a big play for Charles Smith. But here again, he goes for the ball. He goes in front, cuts in front, and he makes a deflection.
That's a heck of a play by Justin.
I know it. That forces the field goal attempt here, and that can be a big difference in this game.
This will be a 38-yard attempt by Tony Franklin.
This is a special report from CBS News. Here is CBS News correspondent George Herman.
Good evening. President Carter is about to enter the White House press room to make what we expect will be a very brief statement on the hostage situation and on the 4 conditions set early this morning by the Iranian parliament for the release of our hostages. In his press briefings after the president's 2 lengthy meetings with his top advisors in the White House today, Presidential Press Secretary Jody Powell expressed concern that there might be some excessive optimism in the country about a speedy return of the hostages. Now, Mr. Carter is expected to present his evaluation of the situation directly to the American people. We expect him in the press briefing room at any moment. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States is about to come into the room.
Sit down. Sit down.
The Iranian parliament today has finally taken a position on the release of our hostages. This is a significant development. We have long been aware that there would be no resolution of this problem until the new Iranian government was in place and the parliament had acted. Many months ago, we made clear the steps that we would be prepared to take when the hostages are released. Ever since the American hostages were illegally seized in Iran, I have affirmed that our policy is based on two fundamental objectives: protecting the honor and the vital interest of the United States, and working to ensure the earliest possible safe release of the hostages. As we understand the Parliament's proposals, they appear to offer a positive basis for achieving both of these objectives. We are pursuing the matter through diplomatic channels. Any action taken by our government will be in full accordance with our laws and with our Constitution. I know that I share with the hostages, with their families, and with the people of this country the desire for a prompt return of those for whom we have waited so long. I know also that all Americans will want that return to be on a proper basis, which is worthy of the suffering and sacrifice which the hostages have endured. Let me conclude with a final comment. We are within 2 days of an important national election. Let me assure you that my decisions on this crucial matter will not be affected by the calendar. We are in contact with the bipartisan leadership of the Congress, with Governor Reagan, with Congressman Anderson, and we will keep the American people informed. I wish that I could predict when the hostages will return. I cannot. But whether our hostages come home before or after the election, and regardless of the outcome of the election, the Iranian government and the world community will find our country, its people, and the leaders of both political parties united in desiring the early and safe return of the hostages to their homes, but only on a basis that preserves our national honor and our national integrity. Thank you very much. I think the comment I made.
Mr. President, do you think the Iranians are trying to take advantage of our election?
The president refusing any further comment on his statement and sticking by exactly what he said. Perhaps one thing should be noted in what the president said. He said any action we take will be in full accord with our laws and with our Constitution. I think the point there is the president was referring to the fact that there are at least 268 lawsuits against the Iranian assets which he froze in this country, and those lawsuits must be settled by law before the money can be sent back to Iran. I'm George Herman, CBS News, Washington.
This has been a special report from CBS News, Washington.
I'm really impressed. Monday on Flo, Crooked Farley's running for office, and Flo's about to run him out of the Yellow Rose.
Farley's never met a man whose money he didn't like.
Monday on the new season of Flo.
This is CBS.
Welcome back to the Kingdome in Seattle. While you were away during the president's address, we had a 38-yard field goal by Tony Franklin. Here it is. So we videotaped it while you were away. Franklin hit this one, and as you can see, he hit it extremely well. And that has given the Philadelphia Eagles a 17-13 lead as we start the fourth quarter. Second down 10 for Seattle. John Sawyer, the tight end, makes the catch at the 27-yard line. One thing that also developed while we were away, Roynell Young hurt his arm. He's out of the ball game right now, and coming in replacing him has been Richard Blackmore at left cornerback.
I think Roynell Young is coming right back into the game now. They've been working on his shoulder on the sideline, and just as you said that they were working on him, he jumped up and ran on the field. So there he is, number 43.
Young back in. Blackmore will stay in as they'll have 5 defensive backs on a 3rd down and 8. Also 3 wide receivers for Seattle. 17-13. The Eagles with the lead. They've had to battle from behind in this game. Jim Zorn on the 3rd down has time to throw, and it's intercepted. It's picked up and intercepted by Herman Edwards. There's a flag on the play, and I get the feeling we're going to have defensive pass interference.
Yes, we are. It's going against Philadelphia, so defensive pass interference also brings about an automatic first down, so that will be a first down for the Seahawks. It looks like there was some pushing in there.
Pass interference, number 27, defense, first down.
That's Blackmore, the man we mentioned earlier. Let's look at it.
I think if we can see him, it looked like he had both hands and pushed someone from behind in there. We did pick it up. Well, I think we just missed it. I think the push happened to Sam McCullum just before we picked it up.
The injury to Young, by the way, was a stretched nerve in his left arm, and of course he has returned. But that first down on the pass interference sets it up at the 42-yard line. Zorn to Largent. What a combination. And he is loose at the 45, the 40. And belted hard there. Bernard Wilson over there along with Charlie Johnson. And Seattle is coming right back in this game. 18-yard pickup.
I want to watch something here. Watch Steve Largent. You know, they say that he's not big. He doesn't have a lot of things. But the thing he has is quick feet. Those 2 feet work together. Look at that. As one moves, the other one's right there. Just watch his feet. That's the ingredient that Steve Largent has that separates him from average receivers.
We had at the start of the show his 67-yard touchdown catch last week against Oakland. And again, his good feet made that play. He now has
balance.
He has 6 catches, John, for 101 yards. On a first down, Zorn. He hits Mark Bell, his tight end, and Bell has a first down. Philadelphia trying to reach in to come up with the deflection or maybe the interception, and Mark Bell instead came up with a catch. He's their 4th-round draft pick. He's a twin brother of Mike Bell, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know how that ball got in there. It was really fine coverage by linebacker Jerry Robinson. He was right there. He reached for the ball, and it just went under his hand and got into Mark Bell.
That third quarter, Philadelphia, as you look at that score, Houston 20-9. Philadelphia had the ball 10 minutes and 12 seconds. Seattle 4 minutes and 48 seconds. The game started with Seattle with great ball control. First down now at the 27. In motion, John Sawyer. A give to Dornick to the 20, 15, 10. First and goal at the 9. And this crowd explodes here. Randy Logan made the stop. Boy, was that wide open. 18 yards for Dornick.
Dan Dornick exploded on that one, but see how it starts off as a sprint. They don't know whether Zorn is going to hand the ball to Dornick or if he's going to continue out and make a sprint pass out of it. They widened out a little because they want to contain Zorn, so therefore the run inside to the side of the sprint is there.
That's the reason Sherman Smith has been so effective for this team, who they miss.
He was great at that. Whew.
First and goal just short of the 9. 17-13, Philadelphia with the lead. Bell in motion. Dornick again. 5. Dornick's in for the touchdown.
They found there what they wanted, and we'll see this from the end zone. See, he starts out sprinting. The defense starts to go with it. He cuts back against the grain that time and finds a hole inside on the other side of the center.
And you said it very well. You have to respect Zorn so much that it gives number 33 a chance to operate. Point after attempt now. Herrera. It's a big point after. 19-17. They need this, so if the Eagles come back with a field goal, the Eagles have jumped offside. Herrera makes it 20-17. I believe it will go against Philadelphia. The point will stand.
Right, so Herrera had a free one there. He knew that if he didn't make it, he'd get another shot at it. He did make it, so that penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Offside, number 22, defense. The point is good. 5 yards on the kickoff.
Wilson, the man that was offside. Let's look at this play again for the touchdown.
You see here again, the Eagles start to go to the right, then he cut back to the left.
Stuttgart, West Germany. A very special Mercedes-Benz is coming home to the Mercedes test track. This 1968 diesel from Oregon has been driven over 1 million miles. And after 12 years of careful maintenance, a couple of engine overhauls, and a little luck, this million-mile Mercedes-Benz diesel can still hold its own with these new Mercedes-Benz diesels. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world.
I love TV. The soaps.
The mysteries. And you'll love recording TV on the Zenith Video Recorder.
I love TV. The sports.
The comedy. The Zenith Video Recorder. 14-day advanced programming, speed search, stop action, plus the picture quality you'd expect from Zenith. You'll love it.
I love TV.